Good morning to one of the stars of this 12-step program I'm in. And it's just my, I think, third call to the guy. He sponsors a lot of people. So I thought I'd introduce myself by talking about some of the symptoms. In this particular program, I was thinking I'd talk about the symptom of time indifference, not using our time efficiently to further our own goals, making progress, and not keeping track of this vital resource of our time. And I could have also spoken about the symptom of energy cutoff, when there are things you need to do, when the most important things to you, your visions, and working on it. So for me, it could be learning Streamlabs OBS, not naturally gung-ho about learning new technology. It's easy for the energy to cut off when it comes to things like that. So over the course of my life, when there were things that I needed to do, the energy would just cut off. For example, in seventh grade, the teacher tried to get me more involved in the class. She thought I was a natural actor, and so in the manger. So as I was talking about time indifference, how when I had a vision, I would use my time efficiently to work towards my vision often. But frequently my vision was just based in delusion. I had a therapist who used delusion. And then when I didn't have a vision, then I'd be floundering, and of course I'd be wasting my time. And so as I'm talking about this, the guy said, well, what's the 11th step? And the 11th step is we try to increase our constant contact with God through prayer and meditation, like develop that channel between us and God. For example, the intuition, or changes in your gut when something comes up. That's like a text message from God. And the more tuned in we are to radio station WGOD, then the more finely tuned we get to what God's will is for us, and then the better our life tends to work. So steps, that's what's preparing us for step 11. Okay, step 11 is we increase our constant contact with God. And so when we haven't done the work of those first 10 steps, then we're going to be constantly putting our ladder up against the wrong building and climbing up, and we may have a vision for our life, but it just doesn't work. It just doesn't get us anywhere. Or it takes us places we don't want to go, which has often been my story. So that's why it's important to work the first 10 steps, because it kind of clears away the wreckage of the path. First three, we give up. The next 5 steps, we face up. That's steps 4 through 9. And give up, face up. On step 9, we step up, and with God, with other people, and with ourselves. And when we live a life devoted to what God wants for our lives, when we live a life devoted to tuning into what the divine seeks for us, when we live our life for transcendent reasons, then we tend to make much better decisions. We tend to be less likely to live in delusion. And when we devote ourselves to something, it's more likely something that is productive, something that's good for us and good for the world. I used to live my life based on fulfilling my basic instincts for self-seeking, attention-seeking, ego gratification, trying to make myself look awesome, trying to impress other people, trying to get revenge on other people. And of course, that didn't really work out very well for me. So I called to talk about time indifference and my delusions, and how most of my visions have been based on delusion. So even when I worked steadily towards my vision, I didn't really get anywhere that was good for me, let alone good for other people. And this guy says, well, let's get back to step 11, okay? We work the first 10 steps so we can do step 11, which is increase our contact with God. When we tune in to God, we tend to get along better with other people, to have more peace with ourselves, tend to make better decisions. And through my 7 years now in 12-step programs, I've just become convinced that we can largely lead lives of gliding. We can just glide through life. I used to be constantly in conflict with myself, with other people, with my highest values versus my base instincts. And those conflicts have almost all gone away. I don't have any big conflicts with other people. I get along with other people. Try to get along with everyone to the best extent possible. I stay out of feuds, and I'm slowly building towards my vision. Still have the energy there to do things that I want to do, because tuning into God and working those first 10 steps to open up step 11, which is increasing my constant contact with God, figuring out what God wants me to do, and listening to the text messages that God sends me. So when I'm thinking about doing something and my gut tightens up, okay, that's usually a symptom that this is not something that's good for me. For instance, there are people that I could work for who pay really well but are highly abusive. So I don't need that. So I choose to spend my time with people who my stomach doesn't contract when I think about them. Instead, there's just a feeling of ease in my stomach, and I interpret that as a text message from. So things that make me tighten up, compress, contract. Frequently, those are things that I'm better off not doing. And so the more highly tuned I am to the transcendent, or to my higher power, to the universe, to God, the more I stay out of conflict with myself and with other people, and then the more I glide through life.